as you are enjoying Memorial Day weekend with family, grilling burgers, making hot dogs and fries. But as always, paying homage to the brave men and women that continue to fight for our country, the United States of America, and protecting our rights as citizens. We have returned from the break to the final segment on this edition, in my own words, the podcast Touchdown Alabama Magazine's premier football show with your man, your guy, Stephen M. Smith. Fourth edition of the mailbag, Ask Stephen. As always, ladies and gentlemen, if you have thoughts, questions, concerns about your Alabama Crimson Tide, I encourage you to send those questions to me via Twitter at CoachingMSmith. Also on Facebook, Stephen M. Smith, as I intend to answer your thoughts, your questions, your concerns as Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide anticipate getting championship number 18 in program history for next season. But we got some good questions here. 4 great questions for this edition of the mailbag. And to start this off, we have John Fretier on Twitter at JohnFretier25. And he asks, which sophomore wide receiver between Henry Ruggs, Devonta Smith, and Jerry Jeudy will stand out the most this season? This is a tough question. And the reason why is, and I've mentioned this on a number of different shows, for the first time ever under Nick Saban, Alabama has a wide receiving core where everybody's dangerous. You have to account for everyone. Alabama's never had that before. In years past, it had one big-time guy, one marquee receiver, one playmaker that every defensive coordinator had to scheme its entire strategy around. Whether it was Julio Jones, Amari Cooper, Calvin Ridley, it was one big receiver and then just supporting cast. And defensive minds thought, okay, you take away Julio Jones, you got Alabama's passing game because the supporting cast ain't gonna do much. You take away Amari Cooper, you got Alabama's passing game because the supporting cast ain't gonna do much. Now though, Kevin Norwood, DeAndre White did do some things, the mass majority of perception out there was, you take away Amari Cooper, you've got Alabama's passing game. Same thing with Calvin Ridley. You eliminate Calvin Ridley, Bama quarterbacks can't do nothing. He's the main guy. They don't trust the supporting cast. You take away Ridley, you got Bama's passing game. It's not the same thing when you look at the wide receivers Alabama brought in 2017. Jerry Jeudy can beat you. He's a dog. Comes from that Florida pipeline with Amari Cooper and Calvin Ridley. Henry Ruggs III led the team in touchdowns last year with 6. Of his 12 receptions, half of those 6 ended up with him in the end zone. Devonta Smith has shown you, if you don't guard me, if you don't respect me, if you don't check me, I will burn you for the game-winning touchdown. Check out the tape from Mississippi State, also the national championship game against Georgia. You've got those 3, plus the likes of Irv Smith Jr., Jalen Waddle coming in the summer, Derek Keith, among others. But because the question is geared around Ruggs, Smith, and Jeudy, I go with Jerry Jeudy. I think Jerry Jeudy can be the biggest standout for next season. Why? Because he's putting in a lot of work this summer. Gotten the chance to talk to a couple of guys I know on the team that I'm close with. Jeudy has put in a lot of work with wide receivers coach Josh Gaddis. He's been working on routes, whether it's been during spring break down at beaches in Florida, or so far this summer. He's putting in work in the weight room. He's putting in efforts on the field. He's getting down the timing, the crispness of his routes, catching the football consistently, breaking off the routes, really developing that chemistry in the passing game with, Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Hurts, whoever wins that job. I like what I'm seeing from Jerry Jeudy. Once again, it's tough because They're all good, John Fortier. They're all good. Ruggs is good. Smith is dynamic. Judy's good. For the first time, it's pick your poison. Like I mentioned, in years past, you take away Julio Jones, you pretty much got Alabama's passing game. You didn't have to really defend anybody else because if you had Julio Jones, you had everybody else. If you had Amari Cooper, you had everybody else, though. There were moments. Kevin Norwood said, hey, look at me, I will burn you. DeAndre White said, hey, look at me, I can burn you. Christian Jones, the same deal, but everybody's attention was so fixed in on Amari Cooper. The same thing with Calvin Ridley. Yes, Alabama had Cam Sims. Yes, it had Robert Foster, but everybody's eyes was fixated on Calvin Ridley. You take away number 3, Jalen Hurts doesn't trust anybody else. He can't throw the ball to anybody else. You take away number 3, you got Bama's passing game on lock. With this group of wide receivers, it's very hard to do that because Smith, Judy, Ruggs, all are dogs. All of them are A-list stars. But if I had to choose one to have a standout year due to the relationship he's already starting to build with wide receivers coach Josh Gaddis, and from reports I have picked up from players around me, credible sources that I know, I look at Jerry Jeudy as the one that will have a big season as a standout guy. But that comes from John Fortier on Twitter at JohnFortier25. Going on to question number 2, or thought number 2, it comes from Franklin Stein on Twitter at BamaJosh15. And Franklin Stein poses the question of, I'd love to hear your take on the Jalen Tua situation in terms of all the hoopla that's going on social media where people are talking about should Jalen transfer, should Jalen switch positions, Tua's so much better. Tua gives Alabama the opportunity to really stretch the field, to be dynamic in the passing game, to really set Alabama's offense apart. And I understand it from both angles. When I look at this situation, the biggest difference, in my opinion, between Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa is the concept of fear on Hurts' end and the lack of fear thereof on Tua's part. In studying Hurts, he's so afraid of making a mistake that he will risk limiting Alabama's offense. Jalen Hurts is so prone, he's so focused on, I can't turn the ball over, I can't throw a pick, I can't fumble the football, that he will risk taking the matters into his own hands versus trusting the teammates around him. And I love Jalen Hurts. Once again, I was the guy back in August of 2016 that broke the story on Hurts being the starting quarterback for the Crimson Tide. And he's done a lot of great things at the University of Alabama. He's only lost 2 games as a starting quarterback. He's taken this program to 2 national championship games. He's helped this program win a Southeastern Conference title. He was the Southeastern Conference's Offensive Player of the Year in 2016. He set a lot of records. He's been calm, cool, and collected. Off the field, a model student, great leader, solid ambassador for the program. You can fully understand why, this fan base is enamored with him. But taking away all the off-field criteria, taking away all the off-field accolades, if we're just basing this solely on the field, when you look at the talent Alabama has returning on the offensive line, at running back, at wide receiver, at tight end, when you look at the coaches Nick Saban has brought in, Dan Enos, one of the best in the game, if not the best in the game, quarterbacks coach. Josh Gaddis, wide receivers coach, young, fiery, energetic, strong recruiter, one of the best in the game, if not the best in the game. Michael Locksley, offensive coordinator, came into Alabama as an offensive analyst, waited his time, pushed for his moment. Now he's got his time. He's in his moment. He wants the best for this program. When you look at all the different factors and scenarios going into this, Alabama craves a centerpiece. It craves a quarterback. It desires a quarterback. It needs a signal caller that can take this offense, set it atop of college football, set it atop of the SEC, and being a dynamic passing attack offense. And in the last 2 years, and especially last season, Jalen Hurts has not done that. Once again, no offense to him, not bashing him, and I believe people get being an absolute butthole to Jalen Hurts and just giving a constructive criticism toward him. I think people get those two things mixed up. If you were to go on social media and say, Jalen Hurts sucks, he's trash, he's nothing, the worst thing ever at the quarterback position at Alabama. I don't know why Saban got him a scholarship. He can't do this. He's just completely terrible, incompetent. Those things go in the classification of being a butthole. Those things go in the classification of people who don't watch film, people who don't study this team, people who don't care about this team, people who don't give 2 cents about this program and about what Nick Saban has done with this program. That goes into that category. But if you are the type of fan with common sense, if you are the type of fan that really dives into the nuts and bolts of this program, if you're the type of fan that really cares about the product being put on the field, and you see, I like Jalen, but when I watch him on the field, it feels as if he doesn't trust his receivers. It feels as though he's not trusting his arm. He's not consistently making plays downfield. This offense could be doing just so much better as a whole on the field. Then that's not you being a butthole. That's not you being uncharacteristic. That's just you stating what you see. That's just you giving a carefully known critique of Jalen Hurts. And last season, we saw on a number of times where if Calvin Ridley was not there, if Calvin Ridley was not open, if he couldn't force the ball to Calvin Ridley, we saw the same thing. Jalen rolling to the right, throwing the ball away, rolling to the left, throwing the ball away, taking the ball down and running with it, not giving, other guys a chance to make plays. And those other guys were, quote unquote, highly frustrated, as they should have been. The difference between Jalen and Tua's faith in God is so concrete, it's so confirmed, it's so genuine, it's so rooted that it bleeds into him having not just the ultimate confidence in himself, but the ultimate trust in the guys around him, the ultimate trust in his teammates. And we saw this on a number of occasions last year. First off, go back and watch tape on the Vanderbilt game. The play where Tua's about to get sacked, and he does his whole Steve Young meets Fran Tarkenton spin move, keeps his eyes downfield, keeps his wits about him, and because of his confidence, of his spiritual root in God there, he's like, look, I have faith that Devontae Smith's gonna make this play. I'm gonna give my guy, my 4-star recruit, a chance to catch this football. Spins out of a sack, throws the ball to Devontae Smith, gives Tay a chance, and Tay makes the play. Then you go to the game against Tennessee for just a moment. Yes, Tua threw an interception, and you have to take the good with the bad with him, because with more reps, more opportunities, he's gonna have his growing pains. But you go back to the game against Tennessee, even after the interception, how does he respond? Coach Saban, my bad, I messed up, I'm getting him back on the next try. Fellas, my bad, I messed up, but you know what? I'm not gonna limit our offense. I'm not going to handicap us. The moment we get back on this field, we still throwing the ball, we still slinging it, we're still picking apart Tennessee, we're still being aggressive. Tua goes back on that field the very next play. What does he do? Steps up in the pocket, scans option 1, 2, 3, 4, sees a streaking Henry Ruggs, fires a dart to him. Henry goes flying down the field for a touchdown. Trusting the guys around you. Then you go to the national championship game, biggest game of the season, biggest moment of the year in his young career. When he entered the ball game in the second half, everything changed. Nonverbal cues say a lot. The body language of the offensive line changed. Body language of wide receivers, running backs, tight ends, even the guys on defense got more juiced up the moment Tua entered the football game. I go back to that 3rd down and 7 in the second half where Tua is scrambling to his right. 3 Georgia defenders are right there, makes a couple of guys miss, scrambles back to his left. Guess who made the key block on that play for Tua to get the first down? It was wide receiver Robert Foster. And this was somebody in 2013 that was a 5-star recruit, can't miss product, freakish, insane, talented, premier athlete, 6'2", 196 pounds from Pennsylvania. Somebody that it was a struggle for him to finally get the coaching down, went through the injuries, had a rough season this past year, but in the national championship game, Tua found him open for a reception, and on that 3rd and 7, it was Robert Foster that got the block. Why? Trusting the players around you. That's what Tua does. Then you look at Cam Sims in that same game, 6'5", 214 pounds, 4-star out of Louisiana. Who knows the type of career Cam Sims could have had if he would have just stayed healthy, but that's a different story for another day. There was a play in that game. Tua fires a dart in the back of the end zone. Yes, it was a little bit out of the reach of Cam Sims, but Cam seeing Tua trusts me. Tua's giving me a chance. All 6'5" of Cam Sims, full effort, full extension, stretching out, toes and all, trying to make the play for his quarterback, trying to catch the football for his quarterback. Yes, it was an incomplete pass, but Tua gave Cam Sims a chance. And then the biggest play of the game, 4th and 2, down by the goal line. You're down 13-7. I believe this is the middle of the 4th quarter. If you don't score, Bama loses. If Bama doesn't score, Kirby Smart walks off that field with the national championship, and Georgia fans are in an absolute frenzy. And as Tua is buying time on this 4th down, backing back, in his mind, he's thinking, if I don't let go of this ball, if I don't give my teammates a chance, the Crimson Tide is not coming home with a national championship. He lets go of the football. And Najee Harris is being held like a blanket. There's no flag thrown, but Calvin Ridley is thinking, look at Tua. He lets it go. He's giving us a chance. I gotta make a play. I gotta get open. I gotta make this catch because here's my guy. He's giving me a chance. He's trusting me. I gotta get open. And Calvin Ridley, weaving through traffic, ball is not even meant for him. But because Tua trusts his players, he trusts the 4 and 5 stars that Alabama has brought in, he does not have any fear. Let's go of the ball. Calvin Ridley works himself into the open void spot on the field and makes the play. And as we know, the final play of the game, in overtime, giving Devontae Smith a chance, throwing that ball in the air, letting Tay make that play. That's the biggest difference between Jalen and Tua. That concept of fear. Jalen's so afraid, if I make a mistake, if I throw a pick, what's Nick Saban gonna say? Is he gonna bench me? Is he gonna chew me out? Am I gonna lose my spot? At some point, if you're Jalen Hurts, you just gotta go out there and go play. I understand he's in Texas right now on summer vacation with his family, but if I was Jalen Hurts, just seeing how my team responded to the backup quarterback, how my team responded to how the backup came in and rescued Alabama to a national championship. And I understand he doesn't read the page clippings, he doesn't go on social media, he doesn't entertain that stuff as he shouldn't. But you gotta know, Jalen Hurts is not naive. He's on the sideline and he's witnessing how those players look at, those players view, those players respond to Tua Tagovailoa. If I was Jalen Hurts, that would be all the ammo I need to take this entire summer, and I would grab quarterbacks coach Dan Enos. I understand Jalen has been working with his brother, Avarian Hurts Jr., and I get it. Brother's a quarterback at Texas Southern, but Jalen, you're at the mecca of college football. You're at the University of Alabama. You're at the land of Roll Tide. You're at a Power 5 conference, the gold standard of college football. You're at the program where everybody else is chasing. If I was Jalen, I would grab Dan Enos and go, Coach Enos, help me. Help me, Coach. Coach me, Coach. What do I need to do? Help me. I would grab Enos. You saw what Enos did with Brandon Allen, Austin Allen at Arkansas. Took those guys, made them 3,000, 4,000-yard quarterbacks. You saw what he did at Central Michigan with Cooper Rush, Ryan Radcliffe. Took those guys, made them 3,000, 4,000-yard passers, put them in the National Football League. I would grab Dan Enos, I would grab a couple of wide receivers, and I'd go to work. Because it's just crazy how in the spring, in 2 years, 28 games, Jalen Hurts has never been injured. You've never seen a practice report on Jalen Hurts' ruptured knee, Jalen Hurts' torn Achilles, Jalen Hurts' broken clavicle, Jalen Hurts' hand injury. You've never seen those reports. Tua Tagovailoa, first day of practice, backup quarterback now, first day of practice, breaks his hand, and social media loses its mind. Fans are in the ultimate uproar. Oh my gosh, oh no. Tua's hurt, not Tua. What's going on? What is Nick Saban doing? Why is he putting our best option to win a national championship out on the field this early with pads and a helmet on? What is going on at Bama's practice? We need CCs on Tua, stat. We need an APB, stat. Why is Tua hurt? Everybody in a frenzy. Why? Tua's hurt. You even look at teammates during player interviews in spring ball saying it's just frustrating not seeing Tua out there. And these are teammates. These are brothers. These are the guys in the battle with him going, it's just frustrating not seeing Tua out there. His leadership, the way he throws the ball, the way he commands the huddle, just how he goes about things, it's just frustrating not seeing him out there. Jalen Hurts has never been hurt, but these are the things that players are saying about Tua Tagovailoa. It even goes back to the spring game where we all know Jalen Hurts can run, but Nick Saban's mic catches on hot, looks at the third-string quarterback, Mac Jones, and somebody of whom a lot of people don't even count in this quarterback conversation. I remember ESPN thought Mac Jones was a walk-on. Worldwide leader in sports thought Mac Jones was a walk-on last year. This guy's a scholarship quarterback. And Nick Saban goes, 2 years. You've been here 2 years. And our third string guy is moving the ball downfield with his arm. If I'm Jalen, I wouldn't even take a summer class. I grab Dan Enos and a couple of wide receivers and I go to work. I mean, even if you lose the battle, go down fighting. As far as all this transfer stuff is concerned, I'm still not at Bama Josh 15 on Twitter. I'm still not in the camp of Jalen transferring. And the reason why is, going back to the whole injury thing, Tua has already shown a precedent now of being hurt. And you never want to see a situation where you rush Jalen out the door, Tua suffers a season-ending injury, and you put all the pressure on Mac Jones. Mac Jones is good. The guy's talented. I think he's baby A.J. McCarron, but has never started a game. And the mindset between Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, and Mac Jones are completely different. Tua and Jalen came in wanting to be the guy, pushing to be the starter, demanding to be the guy, challenging everybody in front of them. I'm not waiting my time. My time is now. I'm taking my moment. Versus Mac Jones comes in. I got talented guys ahead of me. I got 2 very good guys in front of me. Let me come in here, get my weight down, learn the playbook, crack the system open, learn, absorb things, and then my time will come. And then my time will come. It's a difference between waiting on my moment and now there's your moment. Big jump, big difference. Not saying Mac Jones couldn't do it because he probably very well can, but to me, big difference. Jalen Hurts has not talked about transferring at all, though his father came out and said some stuff that probably should have been kept under wraps. But how I see it, if Jalen's comfortable with being the backup to Tua, should he not win the battle for the starting quarterback job, that's the thing right there. If he's not comfortable with it, I can see Jalen possibly redshirting this season and then requesting his transfer waiver to leave in December. But that's the thing right there. Biggest thing with Jalen, got to get rid of that fear of not making a mistake, because that's what's holding him back and that's what's separating Tua from him. But that question comes from Franklin Stein on Twitter at BamaJosh15. Next question here comes from King Carey at CarryH3. Do you think Damien Harris will make a run for the Heisman Trophy this season? I would like for him to. I would like for Damien Harris to make a run for the Heisman Trophy. I mean, he's chasing history right now. Could be the first back in Crimson Tide folklore to have 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. Had 1,000 yards 2016, had 1,000 yards this past year. He's a guy that last season showed that he was better than Bo Scarborough. Averaged 7.4 yards per carry. When Damien Harris was in the ball game, the offense was moving. You were picking up yards. The offense was in rhythm. The offense was in flow. It was being creative. When you tried to force Bo Scarborough the football, the offense got stagnant. There were moments where Damien Harris got very frustrated because of this. This is one of the reasons why he decided to come back, because he wants to be the guy. He wants people, mainstream media, to see him for what he is, a dynamic running back. I look at Derrick Henry in 2015, he was just in a very unique situation. Kenyon Drake broke his leg against Ole Miss in 2014. Nobody knew how Kenyon Drake would come back, how he would respond, how dominant he would be, how he would play. And then Bo Scarborough, Damien Harris, young. Scarborough faced a 4-game NCAA suspension due to academics. Plus, he was rehabbing from a knee injury he sustained in high school. And then Damien Harris, the lights were a big too bright for him at that time. So you had no option but Derrick Henry. You had to feed the workhorse. in this sense when you got Najee Harris, Brian Robinson, and Josh Jacobs behind Damien Harris, and they all want the football, King Carey. We all know how Nick Saban is. He's going to divvy up the carries and rotate his backs. Now Damien Harris proves once and for all, I am the hot hand, feed me the football, I'm your best option. Then we'll see, Damien Harris get the bulk of the carries, and it'll go from there. But right now, King Carey, as much as I would love for Damien Harris to make a Heisman run, with the amount of talent in that backfield and with the precedent that Nick Saban has always shown, it's going to be tough for him to make a Heisman run. But that question comes from King Carey at CareyH3 on Twitter concerning Damien Harris and a potential Heisman run. Rounding this off, and I hope I'm not butchering this individual's name. If I am, I'm so sorry. But rounding this off, we have Devin Spellgater on Twitter at SPIEGES4. And he throws the question of, they haven't played yet as an official duo together, but where do Mack Wilson and Dylan Moses stand compared to previous Saban-era linebacker duos in terms of talent? That's a great question. To me, Mack Wilson and Dylan Moses are the most athletic guys Nick Saban has at that position, the most athletic talents that Saban has recruited at that spot. I mean, don't get me wrong, Rolando McClain was outstanding. Having the duo of Dante Hightower, Courtney Upshaw was massive. The duo of CJ Mosley, Reggie Ragland was great. Reggie Ragland, Reuben Foster was fantastic. Reuben Foster, Tim Williams, Ryan Anderson, Rashawn Evans, Mack Wilson was great. I mean, the tandems that Alabama has had at linebacker under Nick Saban have been fantastic. But when you look at Dylan Moses and Mack Wilson, this could be the cream of the crop. Both guys, natural headhunters, very athletic, play on special teams, have worked themselves into being key cogs in the upcoming season at that inside linebacker perspective. Both guys 6'2", 6'3", 230 pounds plus, can lay the wood, can pressure the quarterback, can stop the run, very instinctive. I like both guys. I think this is the cream of the crop when it comes down to linebackers. When you look at Dylan Moses to start things off, total 30-plus tackles last year as a freshman, had a couple of sacks to his credit, made the SEC all-freshman team. Mack Wilson showed last year he's not just a run stuffer, he's not just a big play on special teams, he can create turnovers, lateral to lateral, sideline quickness, can break on the football, good ball skills. And pairing both of those guys together, greatness for Alabama, complete terror for opposing offenses in the upcoming season. I like both guys at SPIEGES4 on Twitter. I think this linebacking core right here is the cream of the crop where Alabama is concerned for talented duos under Nick Saban. But I appreciate the questions for this week's venue of Ask Steven. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, you can catch the podcast, Facebook, Twitter, Touchdown, Alabama Magazine, YouTube network. Subscribe, leave comments, like the podcast. Gotta hear from you, the smart fans of college football, Alabama football fans. If you can't catch it on YouTube, that's fine. SoundCloud. You can check out the audio version on SoundCloud. Just go to tdalabamamag.com on the SoundCloud site to check out the audio version of the podcast. New podcast, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. We'll get that schedule as consistent as we can, but new podcast, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. For all of us here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine, I'm your boy, Stephen M. Smith. Enjoy Memorial Day weekend, spend time with your family, get some good barbecue, pay homage, salute all the veterans. And until next time, folks, in my own words, so long, everybody. It's your boy, Stephen M. Smith, host of In My Own Words, the podcast. If you are a fan of this show, then I encourage you to subscribe to the Touchdown Alabama Magazine YouTube channel. Also follow the brand on Facebook, Twitter, and other forms of social media as we continue to bring you the best in Alabama football and Crimson Tide athletics.